Welcome, reality designers, to another episode of Hypnosis by Design. I'm your host, Denny Van. I want to talk today about manifestors and relationships. So it's so interesting. I'm in a group on social media, and there's about 50,000 members of this group, and they're all vetted to be manifestors. So this group is just a group of manifestors, and I've never seen so many manifestors in one place. It's pretty mind-boggling. But I posed the question because, we are in February, the month of relationship with self and others. So I asked the question, what are your biggest challenges as a manifester in relationship? So, as someone who has been learning about my human design and those within my inner circle and then my outer circles, learning about how my energy works, I begin to recognize when somebody is projecting conditioned responses or if they are actually deconditioning. So, this is really cool to see some of the responses and to see where they are. And it's okay where you are. Where you are is where you are. That's okay. But we're here to shine a light on it. I am the left ankle cross of education, 5/1 emotional manifester. So I want to share some of the responses with you so that whether you're a manifester or not, but you can begin to see the challenges that, what do they say? The population is 8%, if that, less than 10% of the population are manifestors. And because of our aura, we have unique situations that come up. So, the biggest challenge for a manifester in a relationship is their aura. Manifestors have a closed, repelling aura. So, if you're a generator or even a reflector and a manifestor walks into the room, it could feel like your aura is being pushed out of the room. Even though you're physically in the room, your energy might feel like it's being pushed out of the room. And this can trigger some things within you. And it might make you feel a little bit a sense of uneasiness or uncomfortableness. So, this is because on a chemical level, manifestors are designed to initiate action and impact others rather than respond to them. So, as some of our challenges in relationship, some of the responses are the question, what is your biggest challenge as a manifester in relationship? Generators. Okay, another response, projectors. Another response, manifesting generators. Another response, reflectors. So, this kind of a response kind of shows me where the energy being is at the moment. They are responding from a conditioned place. They are blaming. So, we all have a tendency to do this. We will blame self or another person or a situation or a thing. You have absolutely no control over, yet we're blaming it because of the challenges in our own relationships. So, this is a conditioned response. And this is someone who might not know how to go inside, activate their success mechanism, and begin the deconditioning process. And then you become aware of when you're doing what I call projectile vomiting. You're just projectile vomiting your conditioning all over everyone. So this actually bleeds out our energy. And we want to do everything we can to conserve our energy. And one way we do this is not blame. We take responsibility and center ourselves within the choices that we made and the consequences that we receive from those choices. So if you're in a relationship with a generator and it's not working out, perhaps not blaming the generator, but looking inside. Because it's interesting, the other comments that are coming up. Here is one is in another language, so we have to translate this one. So this one's a translated message response. And it says, either they try to manipulate or control me, or they don't respect the boundaries. And for me, isolating myself. So isolation can cause problems in a relationship, right? The only two people I'm really challenging right now with is my sister and my mom. They're protective. So having those boundaries and feeling like, if you're a manifestor, feeling like others are trying to manipulate or control you. And I'm loving this response, the need for space and the other, the partner, not understanding that. So, manifestors do have a need for space in all aspects of life. So, thankfully, we don't live together yet after 5 years. And 3, 4 days a week, he's out of the area for work. So, it's been working out well. So, there's automatic time and space within your relationship. And I'm kind of in the same situation. My partner is over the road. Sometimes he's gone 3 to 4 days a week. And sometimes he's home every day. So there's a balance that we find. Another response is I've been single 5 years. I feel amazing. Love comes from within. Yeah, your relationship must start with yourself. If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, it is going to show up in your relationships with others. And so I was looking at some of the responses that had a lot of likes and conversation around it. And here's one response that says, relationships for me are no longer problems to be solved, but energies to be experienced. And this is why a lot of people resonated with that, because other people are not problems to be solved, right? So when we come from that space of trying to solve problems in other people with problems are going to be drawn to you, right? So we want to get in that space where you get to choose which energies you want to take part in and for how long. And this person says the only person I solve problems rationally with now is my partner because we're both manifestors and we live together. So obviously, optimization of life is a conscious, co weaving, informing effort that we are both learning to navigate daily. So you're a manifestor with a manifestor. I'm a manifestor with a generator. And we both have to be in this space of learning to navigate how we each communicate every single day, even being together over 40 years. Yeah, did I say that out loud? Yeah, over 40 years we've been together and we're still learning how to navigate. And I'm learning things about his chart. I share things about mine, and he's fascinated with it. I adore it. So this was a very liked comment, and this shows that this person has probably been deconditioning for a while, right? Recognizing the conditioning that wants to come out and react to your three-dimensional environment instead of respond to it. And when we react as manifestors, we leak out our energy. When we're responding, we're coming from a space of peace, regardless of what's happening in our environment. When we're moving from a space of peace, we're not bleeding out our energy. Yes, learning to navigate daily is quite a skill to learn, and it's a very valuable skill to learn because the next one talks about patterns and patterns from the past. And as I currently see it, that there are specific to being a manifester. So a lot of times manifestors and other energy types too will notice patterns, especially projectors. Projectors are really good at noticing patterns. But a lot of times manifestors will be seen as too fast, too big, or they can't keep up, or they don't know what I want them to do. So I totally agree with that. They want me to be a generator because that's what they're used to. And I'm not a generator. I don't have consistent energy and I'm not always open energetically to them. So, yes, that's our closed aura. So, a generator will come and start to condition you, and it might create some anger or put up some walls or have to create some boundaries. And people can take it as being rejected. Yes. And another one says, them not listening to me and thinking they know more and are better than me. So, just so you know, that's not just a manifestor issue. That's a people issue. Some egos clash. What are you going to do? This one's interesting. Generally speaking, not just in an intimate relationship, this is any relationship. I realized the first time when I was a kid, if I say the exact same thing, what another person says, it is not good enough. If I say it, my first memory about it when I was a kid is we watched a show with the family. They told a joke in the TV, and I said something, name of a Hungarian poet. So they mentioned a Hungarian poet. Everybody ignored it. After 2 seconds, a famous person told the same thing, the name of the Hungarian poet. Everybody started to laugh. This kind of situation accompanied my entire life and, of course, my intimate relationships as well. So we'll say things or inform something, most people will ignore it. It kind of has to bubble down and percolate within their energy system. And then somebody else says it, and everybody's like, yeah. This can be very frustrating, and we can see patterns of this. And if you experience this, let me know. Uh, Definitely let me know if this is something you experience. So, people, yeah, that's blaming. Devotion. I was curious about what this meant by devotion. One of the challenges in a relationship being devotion. And somebody asked, receiving or giving? And of course, they responded both. So, is devotion a challenge in a relationship? Now, the question is, are you devoted to yourself? Because if you don't take action of devotion for yourself, you're not going to draw to you, magnetize to you that person who is devoted, for sure. As a manifester, allowing a masculine partner to take the lead. Yeah, because I always have to initiate. And so allowing the other to take the lead. Overthinking how my intellect is perceived by men. Yeah, I get that too. I'm geek girl, right? I'm the geek girl. And they kind of are a little bit taken back by that. Although I'm ultra feminine in body, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually, my intellect is sometimes perceived as masculine. This is because I am direct. Yes, I am direct too. And it's sometimes taken as, it's taken in interesting ways. The irony here is that among men, as a hyper masculine environments, such as in STEM fields with hardly any other women present, they definitely perceive my intellect as feminine and my artistic, intuitive approach to problem solving. They treat my thinking as feminine. And in a dating context, boy, this is so detailed. This is great. Guys often tell me that they appreciate how straightforward I am. And I got to tell you, guys always appreciated that about me as well. When I first started dating my husband, right off the bat, he's like, you don't play games, do you? I'm like, nope, I'm straight up. I'll tell you straight up, right in your face, what's going on. And I don't play games. So, many, many responses. This has been a fascinating thread about, those challenges in relationships and tolerating someone around me for a long period of time. Yeah, having somebody else in your energy for a long period of time. As a single woman, I find it difficult to find someone I want to date with or be with. And on and on. Oh, here's one with lots of responses. A pattern that I'm noticing is that they all seem to want me and love me, but don't ultimately choose me. I've been doing internal investigating on this. Yes, this is important. Investigating, experimenting. Internal experimenting and investigating is a requirement for any energy type. This is fantastic. Good on you. So, doing all of this internal investigating on this, it seems they all either choose neither, more toxic partners, or easier, less deep connections. However, they all circle back around. Yeah, I'm noticing this in other people too, that, I bring out deep stuff in them and it's uncomfortable. They would rather have a relationship that makes them comfortable, that maybe codepends with them, or maybe they like to talk negative with others. And I don't, don't projectile vomit on me your crap because I'm going to tell you, guide you in a way where, or maybe ask questions back at you. How can you fix that? Depending on the conversation. And sometimes it gets uncomfortable and it's hard to have deep, meaningful friendships. So that's why I'm really grateful for my husband because we go so deep, deeper than surface level. And most relationships are surface level, if you haven't noticed already. And many of the other responses are, somebody says that a manifestor energy radiates that I don't need anyone energy. And many manifestors don't like the energy of neediness. So if you come to me, Denny, I need this. Will you do this for me? I really need this. This kind of neediness makes me want to make my space larger and kind of push you out of it. I don't like neediness because I'm going to turn around and say, how can you solve this problem? I'm a very independent woman, and women, from my experience and all of the women that I've known, those women who really need a man in their life are not my friends. They're just not my friends. But those who have needing man, they kind of tend to come together. Whereas I tell my husband, I don't need you, honey. I want you. I want you in my experience. I want us to have amazing experiences together. And this creates such deep, profound experiences together. So, what's reflected back that I was intentionally tabling? Yeah, that's true. Usually, when we're holding back, it's going to be shown in our 3D experience reflected back at us. Good observation. The love of solitude definitely affects relationships for sure. Personally, just learning to inform him of my needs, even the ones that are weird or unusual. Which ones are those? Now I'm curious. Even when I think he might take it personally, like sleeping alone, don't wake me up because I'll instantly get angry, even though it's cute and sweet, lol. See, I don't get that. Wake me up. I don't get angry if you wake me up. So the learning curve of informing, yes, that's a strategy. Informing is a strategy. But the positive things too. Luckily, I'm with a guy who needs a lot of alone time too, and a lot of freedom. So the aspect has been pretty easy to navigate. Good on you. I never feel that suffocated or obliged feeling like I have in past relationships. Yeah, you feel suffocated, like you're being suffocated. Your space is just like someone's trying to make your space really small. Exactly. Someone says, I think I want friends, lots of good friends, but one hierarchical relationship is so stifling. I also want some sort of menstruation magician who pops in, gives me good sex, cooks a good meal for me, brings jewelry and cash and kisses, and then leaves till next month. Who doesn't want that? I don't know of any energy type that doesn't want that. Okay, expectations. Yeah, that's a big one. Expectations is a big one. Having to be careful with my words, lest someone try to hold me to what I said. Okay, now that's pretty funny. Stop projectile vomiting words all over the place. Be very conscious of the words that you send out because guess what? It comes back to you. You get the consequences. Someone said, no relationship, no challenge. Well, how's the relationship with yourself going? Are there any challenges there? Are you keeping your promises to yourself? Are you following through what you say you're going to do? Hmm. Start there, girlfriend. All right. It feels like our impenetrable aura makes the deep connection I crave impossible. Yes, we do have an impenetrable aura. And maybe the reason for that desire never feeling fully known or seen. Yeah, for sure. I can relate so deeply to this. Someone says the biggest challenge is staying in the relationship. For sure. Yeah, sometimes it's easier to just get up and leave. Oppression. Yeah, I think all the energy types definitely feel some sort of oppression. Suddenly you are a competition and the other person needs to suppress you to show you they are strong. And somebody says, that's me currently and why I'm leaving my manifesting generator. So again, blaming the manifesting generator instead of really sitting with your choices and your energy. Someone says manifesting generators can be the worst. You know what? Anybody who is in their not self can be the worst. So no one energy type is the worst. I'll tell you that right off. This is from a conditioned perspective, right? So it's their not self. Any energy type, their not self can be the worst. And especially if we're just trying to survive, kicking and screaming, right? So these responses are just fantastic and really eye opening because a lot of them really agree with time alone. Sometimes a manifestor who needs time alone, it can be seen as rejection to the other person. And it's not. It is absolutely not. This is how we recharge our energy and allow our energy to open up and get big without telling us we're too much or we're what's the other word? Intimidating, right? Telling us we're intimidating. None of that. So we're allowed to kind of open up our wings and be who we are. My expectations, I expect people to do what they say and be efficient about it. Now, let me ask you about this. Do you expect yourself to do what you say and be efficient about it? Because then if you're not, then it's kind of backwards. You got to start with yourself and work out from there. I find others are haphazard with words, true. Sometimes I'm thinking one thing, but I'm saying another. Uh, and then depth. I want to dig deeper and faster and truly don't know when enough is enough. That, I'm a 5-1. Sometimes that's my one. I really want to dig deep into the research. So that might be your one coming out there. Another says, so far I haven't chosen my partner since knowing human design. I would say finding a good enough man that is not intimidated by me. Yeah, my guy's not intimidated by me, but a lot of guys really are. As a neurospicy manifester, I don't know what that is. I know neuro is nervous system, spicy, jalapenos. I don't like to waste energy beating around the bush. Yeah, get to the point, right? So I'm very direct in a way that I communicate. This tends to offend and upset people. It's interesting. As a sign language interpreter, people in the deaf community tend to be very blunt and straightforward too. So over the years, I learned to culturally mediate that between deaf culture and hearing culture. And knowing that I have a tendency to do that anyway, and that I've had to practice that myself, it really has become an easier skill for me to do when mediating that directness from culture to culture. Yeah, very good point. Being rejected for nothing really, perceived as negative. Yeah, you're just standing in the room doing nothing, and suddenly people are projecting on you. Yeah, happened my whole life. Again, projecting on a specific energy type. Yeah, that is conditioned. That is a conditioned response. It's not a conscious awareness response. Now, here's a conscious awareness response. Someone responded by saying, now that I know that needing to sleep alone is not a selfish thing, finding someone who is okay with that can be a challenge. However, you know what you need, and you can inform the others, hey, look, I get very drained energetically. Sleeping alone really helps me physically, emotionally, mentally. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, just informing them. My husband calls it a sleep divorce. He hates it, but sometimes sleeping alone recharges me, and he doesn't want to do it. All right. Another responds, I'm a single definition. So sometimes I just feel like I don't need this shit. Yeah, I'm a single definition too. And my response is, I'm done. I'm done. Like you're cut off at the neck. I'm done. I'm done. And my husband knows when I say I'm done, I'm done. No more. Good response. And then I have to remember that's what I want. Yeah, we do like that in our experiences. We do like challenging relationships in our experiences. Feeling guilty for resting. Yeah, that's a big one. Because a lot of times, uh, more than half the population are generators. And sometimes my generator husband, he doesn't rest at all. He just keeps going and going. And I mean, he's a generator bunny, and just sometimes watching him, I'm exhausted. So recognizing that you need rest and not feeling guilty about it is huge. All right. So let me just check my notes about, why is it a challenge to be a manifester in a generated dominated world? Yes, this is a generator dominated world, and it can be challenging to be a manifester in this generator dominated world for many reasons, as we just discussed in and many of the responses from manifestors. Because again, manifestors operate very differently from other energy types, especially generators who make up most of the population. So manifestors are designed to initiate, while generators are designed to respond. And most of the world operates according to the generator's need to wait for something to respond to. And this can create frustration and resistance to the manifestor's energy type. And the entire world is largely unaware of and suspicious sometimes of manifestor energy. So this can lead to misunderstandings and rejection. And if you experience that, let me know about that. Since manifestors only represent about 8%, I usually say less than 10. Less than 10% of the population are manifestors, and their closed, repelling aura tends to make others feel uncomfortable. And so if you walk into a room and there's people standing off away from someone and suddenly you feel uncomfortable, just check in. I wonder if that's a manifestor. And the pressure to conform to generator conditioning can lead manifestors to repress their true nature or try to make their big energy very small. And this can cause anger and frustration. So manifestors have to be able to resist the urge to wait for guidance or permission from others and instead trust your own authority. So the key to being a successful manifester is to embrace your own unique power and find peace in a world that is not designed for it. It is so important to find peace in a world that is not designed for it. And so this is how you can become your own reality designer. This requires a deep understanding of your success mechanism and your unique human design, and a willingness to set boundaries, inform others, and the courage to act in accordance with your true nature, even when it's difficult. All right. So, reality designers, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I am here to serve. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things to get it out there because the more you tap on the algorithm, the more the algorithm wakes up and gets out there. So do all of those things. And I want to hear from you. I want to know what you loved, and I want to know what you would love more of. And in the meantime, keep being amazing.